I got this friend, and every time I see him, I buy him a smart water. And then the next time I see him, I'm always disappointed.
That's funny to me. I saw that today. It's like a cute little clean, funny joke. But anyway, squad up, y'all. Welcome back to another episode.
Say it again. Wait a minute. Hit that one more time.
He just said, I have a friend that when I see him, I always buy him a smart water. And then every time I see him the next time, I'm always disappointed.
Wow.
Anyway,
Just
yeah.
fuck me. Your friends can be. Listen, I think I'm very guilty of this in our friend group. Sometimes your best friend that you have, it can be the most disrespectful.
Yes.
Who I'm rude. My bad. I'm sorry to all my friends. I be rude
No, you're not.
sometimes. But I know I am sorry because I had to learn through my development, change, growth, that the way I used to come off when I used to be telling people the truth was so harsh and blunt that I almost lost friends because of it. But then I have come up with my own safety valve on how to give people chances. So my new method, if I ask you 3 times on whether or not you want the truth from me.
Yeah.
And then I also adopted your method that I have carried this method since the back porch in Arkansas on Petty Jean Mountain.
I
will
don't even
always
remember
thank you
those
for this.
times. What
So
happened?
let me tell you, this method of communication I have carried with me ever since you taught it to me. And you didn't even know you was in the space to teach me something. But I have carried this for at least what that was, 2017, 2018, somewhere around there. So we talking about probably 5 years. Is when you explain to me when talking to somebody who is in flux, and I need to ask the question, do you need to rant?
Oh, yeah.
Do you need my opinion, or do you need both? I have carried that and have used that in every relationship ever since.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
had to
talking about
learn that
friends,
myself.
all of them.
I had to learn that myself because I had a friend. We're not friends anymore, but I had a friend at the time, and she was like, I call you to just talk about stuff, and you just always gotta fix it. And then I was also in a relationship with somebody who said the same thing. And I was like,
because you're a problem solver.
but I'm not anymore. And that is simply because my problem solving was a form of codependency. I only felt valuable if I could solve a problem. And that's not it. I ain't trying to be there no more. Not trying to be in that space anymore. So I would just I just listen. I mean, I do still like to just share information and stuff like that, but not as a means to feel valuable just because I like to share information.
But that's different from being a natural problem solver. Sometimes we use our gifts as a crutch for codependency. That don't mean we shut the gift off. We just realize where it come from now.
Okay.
You are a natural problem solver. If you weren't, you wouldn't even be doing this podcast.
Rick.
You literally give solutions to people problems, even when they don't ask about them. You already got a solution focused mindset. Just because at one season you may have used in a toxic format does not mean that gift can't be used in a different way.
Okay.
I had to learn that too, because I used to do it the same way, but then I had to realize, what is me doing this out of codependency, or is this actually a gift? If your gift is natural consultancy, because that's what it really is. It's not problem solving.
Yeah.
It's being a natural consult. It's the same reason why people come to you spiritually and tell you about some of that stuff. That's a spiritual gift of being a natural consult. But sometimes when the enemy is over us, he can make our gifts we get from God seem like poison to our own souls. I don't know where that came from. God must be moving, because that just boom right then. Then no, I'm just letting folks know about how that works. But sometimes when we've been in our dark spaces and we're doing reflective time, we need to distinguish between what was actually in us and what was caused by us due to our environment or experience at the time.
Mm.
And that helps you distinguish what is actually your gifts and other things that you just have natural talents for, and what are just things that you just pulled out of necessity due to either codependency or trauma or anything else for that matter. Natural consultancy is really a gift that would just be manipulated for the wrong reasons.
Mm. I never
And
thought
we're
about
natural consultants. Yeah, you're a natural consultant. Only one that I'm a natural consultant. That's the only reason why I can speak on it, because I've also used it in the wrong way too, of codependency. I feel like I'm useful or worth something because I've helped somebody.
Yeah.
When in reality, that's just naturally you. But the devil is manipulating your mind to make you feel like this is where your worth lies, when your worth is before your gift.
Mm.
But if he can make you think, oh yeah, you not worth none unless you helping somebody, i.e. person that suffers from depressive episodes, me, it comes and goes like that. It used to be to the point to where I would ignore my own issues and put them on the back burner to go help everybody else. You know this based off being in
Yes.
proximity to me.
Yes.
But that comes from my natural gift of being a problem solver / natural consult, but using it in a toxic manner of ignoring my own red flags and warning signs of things I'm dealing with during that time. So instead of it not just codependency of trying to find worth, it was my way of distracting myself.
I think we should dig more into that, because that actually like helps us gain a better understanding, or helps us to see how some things can be strongholds in our lives, and how there are good strongholds and how there are also bad strongholds,
Mm-hmm.
and just thinking about some of the things that we do that, like you said, they're birthed out of necessity, when they're actually in those situations, when they're birthed out of necessity, they're actually a stronghold, and they
Mm-hmm.
become ultimately something tied to the way that you view life, or that feels tied to something that filters your view of life, um, as it pertains to maybe something traumatic, a dark, like you said, those dark spaces in your life. You may pull this thing out and you just think, this is how I'm supposed to react in this situation. This is how things are supposed to be. This is how I'm
Mm-hmm.
supposed to move in this situation. And really, that's actually just a stronghold. That's something that's that needs to be broken off of you, because it's not as effective as you think it is. Um, Case in point, as we were discussing codependency, those codependent behaviors. I have a book here right in front of me on my bed called Love is a Choice, and it says the definitive book on letting go of unhealthy relationships. And it's a faith-based book, but it's really a faith-based look at codependency. Um, and it breaks down what the different forms of codependency. And so one of those forms, like we were talking about, is problem solving, and feeling like your worth is tied to problem solving, and that makes you feel like this is a big thing in like spiritual community. But and I use spiritual very loosely. um
Mm-hmm.
the new age community, if you're an empath, you're gonna attract a narcissist, and it's because
Huh.
you have that idea. You live life through the filter of, I only attract people that I'm supposed to help change. Um, when really that's just a subconscious imprinting that has told you you're only useful, or you only have value if you are able to help somebody change or become better. And so you subconsciously begin to seek out the person that needs help.
Mm-hmm.
And then you try to blame them. Oh, it's because I'm an empath. And no, ma'am, you're
No.
doing it.
And the thing about it is, it's the same way how people use zodiac signs to blame
Yes.
toxicity.
Yes.
Because I'm just like,
And I
bro,
think
you
zodiac
literally
signs
trying
are
to.
a stronghold.
Yeah, they are. Because you're trying to tie yourself to a star, really.
Yeah, and it's
But
like I get it. Like some of those things they do, like they hit spot on sometimes, but not like to tell your future and things like that. Some of the
yeah, or
characteristics
either how
maybe.
you are set up as a whole person, like you can't
Exactly, because
evolve.
you could exactly you can have some of those characteristics, but you're human. Who's not going to have those characteristics? No matter
Mm-hmm.
what their quote unquote star sign is, no matter what star they were born up under, no matter what time they were born,
What planet, what's your
anybody
sun
can
sign,
have
your moon
those
sign.
characteristics. Exactly, anybody can have those characteristics based on their general disposition, the
Mm-hmm.
environment they grew up in, who they were raised by.
Mm-hmm.
Many of those things we just pick up, and if we see it, we want so badly to be connected to something or have something to define us. As soon as we say, oh, that's why that is, oh, it's because I'm this, I'm this, no, ma'am. God didn't say you were any of that, because like we talked about this in another episode. If your sign says you're a Scorpio, you are overly sexual, but you're also very toxic. That's not something that you have to take on as your identity.
Nope.
Both of those things are actually tied to the enemy. Sex, not necessarily, because sex is of God. However,
It was perverted by the enemy.
exactly, and the perverted nature of it as it is connected to Scorpios or people born in October, November, whatever. That is of the enemy. So, but yeah, continue what you were saying.
No, what I was thinking about was in and it's something I had picked up too. So in regards to strongholds, but not just that, was just to talk about the topic of, yeah, I know we in the series spiritual warfare, Call of Duty spiritual warfare. I still like that title because I'm just like, gonna use it. But one of the things I was looking up in order to prepare, or at least to have like a modern look at, was the question of what is the most effective military strategy of all time?
Mm-hmm.
And how does that tie in spiritually? And the top ones that they consider as far as types is divide and conquer, total war, shock and awe, guerrilla warfare, and asymmetric warfare. The one that hit me the most is somebody else also recommended that might be the most effective warfare tactic of all time. Take a guess what you think it is.
Guerrilla warfare.
I can rename exactly.
Because it sneak up on you.
So I'm gonna read this certain quote just to let you understand it from what they was talking about. And it's funny that we're in this nation. So it says the United States fought some of its war for independence using guerrilla warfare. Knowing they were outnumbered and outgunned, they relied on ambushes and other unconventional tactics to keep the British off balance, especially in South Carolina, where Swamp Fox Francis Marion combated Brit forces using the wilderness to his advantage. The word guerrilla is a Spanish word which means little war. That translates to meaning militarily that in a conflict that are opposing sides where one side is stronger than the other. Sound familiar? In Vietnam, there was no doubt who the stronger nation was, but given that the Viet Cong chose to fight a guerrilla warfare, I don't like the term Viet Cong, so some people say that. I
Yeah.
don't. Just gonna make a qualify. This is what they say, so I'm just quoting. Chose to fight a guerrilla war. A conventional military like the U.S. military fell victim to guerrilla tactics where quick strike raids, ambushes, sabotage, and other irregular actions were the norm.
And
Now
that's
I'm
how
going
the
to say this
enemy
again.
attacks.
Exactly.
And that's
Hold
wild
down.
because what I wanted to look at real quick because I just turned it. God, you wild. God, you dope. Anyway, because I hadn't even got to this part in the book yet, but I just opened the book up to the book that I've been reading that I mentioned on the last episode, The Rules of Engagement. I opened the book up to the enemy's weapons against the children of God, and it's a A through Z list, and it breaks down what each one is. Starting with abandonment and goodness. Oh, we got counter.
I'm gonna show you how to.
Here.
I'm gonna show you how to do homework real quick. Let me find me a notebook real quick because I'm gonna show you how we do this. We can do homework on the podcast. Watch this.
It starts with abandonment and ends with yokes.
Okay, hold on. Can you get a notebook out? Cause I'm gonna let you read them off. Cause I'm gonna show you how crazy I am.
You want me to read like what each one is? That's like a long time. I ain't doing that. I'll just read what each.
No, I'm talking about each word is because I can break it down myself. Hold on.
Okay.
D.
So there's abandonment. Abortion.
Oh no, that ain't what I mean. So let me break it down a little bit further. Whichever one that you believe highlights the most towards either guerrilla warfare or how Satan works in regards to this, highlight each one per letter. So we'll have 26. Or at least how warfare goes. And I'm gonna tie 26,
but let's see. Ooh. Okay. Those are both good for A. You know what? We're gonna do this one because that one actually creates a few of these. So approval seeking activities.
Ooh, that's me. I'm guilty. Oh man, I used to be horrible.
So then we move to B.
Activities.
Blind spots. Being basically not being self-aware. Huh?
Trying to see, was that Pastor Mike McClure who did Blind Spots? Or was that Rock City or was that Transformation Church? I'll get to it. Never mind. It's one of them.
Let's see.
Okay.
Both of these are good for C. It's between complacency and compromising.
I'm gonna say complacency because compromising can actually be a good thing.
But and that's the way that the enemy uses it. I was like, well, this could be a good thing.
Well, because I'm saying approval seeking activities, no. Blind spots, no. Complacency versus compromise. The reason why I don't want to use compromise is because compromise is a good thing in relationships if properly done. Complacency ain't nothing good with complacency.
But I mean, then you have to understand how to compromise according to God's way.
Then. And the thing about it is, when we talking about growth, being complacent don't match.
Yeah, that's true. So okay, complacency.
And I mean, whoever's listening, you can take whichever one y'all believe, and whatever guy working on you with. If you choose the other one, hey, do what you do.
He got some good ones too. Deception is the biggest one. But then like
deception,
doctrines of
grace. Ooh, let's do both. Well, you know what? Doctrines of man.
They tie together.
I'm finna say that is a deception. Okay, so I'm a underline deception to go in there. Okay. All this is guerrilla warfare.
Let's see. Not entanglements.
Wow. I don't even want to write that down for the sake of the audience. David, we've been through entanglements for a long time.
But there's also enmeshments. Enmeshments are codependency even. Sheesh. especially parental.
Enmeshments.
Did y'all not learn about enmeshments in psychology? It's
Yeah, we did, but I forgot how to spell it. If you want to help me be transparent.
Okay. Yeah, those are only E ones anyway. So, ooh,
You got the F and
take
it
that
just
one
went
out.
left.
Take that one out.
Okay.
It ain't gonna be
Enmeshments.
It's not gonna be enmeshments. It will be ethnicities.
Whoa. Ooh, now we get into a different conversation.
Because all that causes is dissension.
Dissension and division, divide and conquer.
It causes dissension. It causes division. I mean, if you want to look, dissension and division are the same thing. But if you want to look at it in today's terms, it causes deception.
Deception.
Because my ancestors used to practice such and such and such a thing. Okay.
You ever thought that you would say so you wouldn't have to do that?
Exactly.
We need to get back to doing that. So you want to get back to entertaining spirits that you really don't know.
Right.
Oh, that's my ancestor. You sure about that?
Well, you know them.
And even if it was your ancestor supposed to be in two places. And I highly doubt they want to come back here.
This is a big one.
Just saying that for black people. I highly doubt.
Yes. This is a big one. Family eccentricities and idiosyncrasies.
What are idiosyncrasies? Oh my God.
Eccentricities.
Say it one more time.
Family eccentricities. ECC ENTRICITIES.
I did that right because I remember. Idiosyncrasies.
Yes. IDIOSYNCRASIES.
Now remember, kids, I know how to spell a lot of these words, but sometimes I don't. But follow along in the podcast so you can spell some of these words. Because we not finna act like these ain't no SAT National Spelling Bee big words. Okay? All right.
I won the spelling bee.
I did too. I had one a spelling bee. So you know my favorite word used to be when I was a kid, just sideways.
What?
Radioactive.
Oh, I'm radioactive. Oh, good time.
And I don't know if it was because I was a Spider-Man kid or what, but that was just my favorite word. Plus, it's two separate words put together when you like 8, so it makes sense. But
My
try to
favorite
tell
one
somebody to
was
spell radioactive
palindrome.
that's old. Was what?
Palindrome.
She's just disrespectful. How my simplicity of my big word just
I
didn't
like what a
match up to that.
palindrome is, so it was my favorite word. Is when words are backwards and forwards.
Oh, first of all, I was gonna say break that down because some people, the English language is second
Palindromes are
language,
when
like
words
first.
are the same backwards and forwards. So mom is mom backwards and forwards. Dad is dad backwards and forwards. I like that word, and I like what it means.
The dumbest word to spell to me still to this day is onomatopoeia. I don't care what nobody says.
Oh,
I don't care.
I
I don't care about you spelling it. I said I got beef with it. I don't care how it's spelled. I think it's stupid. Not saying the meaning of what it is, but the actual spelling of it. I'm like, bro, y'all could have did something else. There was so many other ways, but the English language to me is stupid.
I had a teacher mispronounce it, and don't
even embarrass them on here.
It wasn't a teacher actually. It was another student. I was in the 4th grade, and I was getting ready to be in the spelling bee, and this little boy was, I bet you can't spell, and did not pronounce it correctly.
And he embarrassed himself. Oh, okay. Thank you, Birmingham, for your bullying that normally backfires on some individual students. He probably liked you too, because you know how that worked.
That was, you know what? That was my first stronghold, to be honest. Anyway,
hey, I know.
4th grade.
We on G.
Generational curses, of course. The other G's are gossip and guilt. Ooh, guilt is a big one.
Guilt is a big one, so I'm gonna add that. because that's a manipulative tactic. So I'm gonna keep guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, guilt is over. Although, in my opinion, generational curses is stronger for the long haul. I feel like overall guilt is stronger because guilt can cause a generational curse.
Yes, it can.
Okay. H.
Let's see. So we got ooh, this is actually, these two are the like real ways that the enemy really tries to move in guerrilla warfare fashion, because there are habits and heresies.
Yeah.
And I say heresies because of the way heresy affects the church, and it causes dissension within the church, and people don't really understand it or really even realize it. Now, I won't say everybody doesn't realize it. I'm pretty sure many people realize it, but there are people who don't
The
even see it.
disrespect.
What?
I just noticed something about notebooks because, like I told y'all, we are literally doing homework while we on here, and I just noticed based off. I think notebooks were probably created. At least modern day notebooks are probably English driven. Maybe, possibly. I don't want to be quoted on that. I just want to guess. So maybe this is a coincidence or not, and I'm gonna go research it. But I noticed between the first line and the last, I'll say the first gap of a piece of paper and the last gap, at least on a wide rule, which is used by mostly younger audiences, there are exactly 26 slots because every letter fit on a line. And I'm like, maybe I'm gonna go back and research that. Like I said, this is just my J random tidbit
Okay.
research corner. But it's just like I was writing down the letters and I was like, all of them fit on the paper. And still
We're
gave you the
on
top
topic,
line and the
but
bottom line.
also we just
But
doing
go ahead.
we're
That
doing
was just something I
what we
noticed.
do. We doing what we do. So for ignorance.
Number one. Should say
Oh, there's a few
caveat
under
before
I.
ignorance. Speaking out of ignorance.
There are a few under I actually. There is ignorance. There is insecurity, idolatry,
Out of ignorance.
invisible barriers, which will really get you, because the invisible barriers are the more emotional, mental, psychological, spiritual, the financial things, the social things, the national things, the things that we're not, the systems that we're not always considering. We're becoming more aware of considering them now. But I really need people to see how the enemy moves through these systems. And so that's a big one to me, invisible barriers.
I tie that to ignorance.
Especially with culture, and how they don't understand. Like culture, there is no difference between culture and the world. They're the same. And so,
how you figure?
Culture is tied to when I hear culture, when I think culture, I think about trends and things like that. What's trendy, what's considered the norm, even though the norm is not always beneficial or right. But it's what we know, and I think that ties into those familial idiosyncrasies, that ties into generational curses, because things are of a particular culture. Well, we've always done it this way, or this is what's the norm. Oh, you're a Christian? That's not normal because Christians don't do this normal thing, this thing that's considered normal, like drinking and smoking and all these other things. Christians don't go out. Christians don't do this. Christians don't do that. And Christians don't live in the culture. And so when I hear culture, my mind automatically goes to being of the world. because that is how I see it.
Mm. I want to go with that but my sociology background won't let it happen.
Okay.
Due to the fact of, is there not a culture as far as being Christian?
There is a culture within Christianity, but I think sometimes even that culture of Christianity falls into religiosity, and that's a problem.
But I feel like those are two different cultures.
So what's another culture of, I mean, okay, I could see like people understanding relationship as a culture, but it's not like a set type of culture. It's like, okay, we
Yeah.
acknowledge that there's a relationship, cool,
Mhm.
but the relationship doesn't look the same across the board.
No, and that's the reason why cultures are different. See, the real definition of culture, at least when it comes sociology is concerned, is languages, customs, beliefs, rules, art, knowledge, collective identities, and memories developed by members of all social groups that make their social environments meaningful.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't really see it as, when you see culture, you see trend, because that dumbs down what culture really is.
Okay.
Culture is way bigger than that. And see, when we think about the Christian culture as being a part of religiosity, that's when I say, is that the culture, or is that something that we did to the culture?
That's definitely something we did to the culture. Like if you read the New Testament, it's like you will see like, okay, this is not what church was supposed to be. This is
And
not
that's why
what this was.
and that's why I push back on calling it culture like that, because that in turn is the manipulation of the enemy, which was a warfare tactic.
Okay.
So if I can make you think that culture is what you see as trendy instead of what the true definition of culture is, that makes this big, broad, very diverse, introspective thing into something dumbed down and simple, to where people don't have to think about it like that. And that's manipulation in its honesty. It's the same way when people look at things on TV. Like when a news report might say something like one way. Like in my opinion, I always like to compare a news report to what is being said on maybe CNN or Fox News or whatever, and compare it to what is being said on BBC News. The removal of certain details make a story seem simple compared to the grand scale of what it could really be. So it's the same way as we go to the basics of the English language. You know how when we was coming up, how we had descriptive words? So if we could just say, there's a truck. Truck seems broad, it seems simple. And to be honest, I'm going to dumb it down even more. If I say there's a vehicle, that tells you nothing.
That's true.
But then you break it down to, there was a red truck, gave it detail. But then you go even more intricate. There was a Scarlet Ford F-150. The more details is given makes it more descriptive, which gives it more intimacy to the information, in my opinion. Okay. Because if you just say something broad without it, just saying, oh, culture means trends to me based off these reasons. Although you may be valid in your experience of what you're saying, that if you don't understand, the reason why we always break down definitions on the podcast, because that too, if you don't understand what the full scope of the word was supposed to mean compared to what we did it to it, or we did to it. Same way how we look at Christianity, it was like, oh, we made it a religion. Yeah. When in reality, it was supposed to be a spiritual relationship with God. And then we made it political.
Yeah, it's really just about us following him. I mean, the base of it not the base of it, the origin story of it. If you read through the New Testament, there is politicism all throughout it, and all that.
And that's where he toe up.
Yes. Yes. Um, and even after though, like even after he um was resurrected and they began to go out and build the church and all of that, and we got Paul's letters and stuff. Even Paul's letters show us just how politicized it still was. Especially the Jewish Christians and stuff like that, who thought we the original Christians and all that foolishness. We the real Christians.
But I mean, you got to think about how at time before we was reclaimed due to Jesus being here, how it was politicized and people still followed that. You remember how people were divided outside of the it is escaping me. Not outside temples. I'm having a brain fart, but you remember how they divided the Jews from the Gentiles and from certain sections outside of, was it where the Ark of the Covenant laid?
Okay.
Or outside of, you know what I mean? I'm trying
I know what you're talking
escape.
about. I don't know the specific, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I gotta go pull up my Bible because y'all done had a 12-hour shift at work. My brain not working. Okay.
I've been yelling at kids.
But that right. So we together. The division between, I've been dealing with adult kids, my God. But that division between people was a politicized thing that how, in my opinion, that's how socioeconomics kind of enter in when we looked at the religiosity of Christianity from basic division that was reclaimed through the New Testament that didn't need to be done anymore. But you can see how New Testament people thought that was how it was supposed to be. And because they remember that way, that was supposed to be the tradition. Oh, because I remember how it used to be before Jesus got here. I'm the true Christian. You don't even know what it looked like. It's almost like when old heads be telling you, I remember it used to be like this, and that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Really? Like you can't evolve?
Yeah.
Like there can't be the blood of the lamb shed in order to redeem that? Come on, people. It ain't simple, but it's simple.
Yeah.
What we doing?
I get it. I see it. Well, I appreciate that lesson I appreciate that lesson on the definition of culture. I love to learn about, I enjoy learning about words rather.
American Sociology Association, for the people that need what we would say a reference. Because we got researchers out there that might be trying to dissect us too.
Yeah, I really appreciate it because I don't want to be somebody that like says words and I am misusing them. And I like I meet people like that and I be feeling bad because I be like, I want to say that this is not how you use this word. However,
right.
And it's not even
that would be too much to deal with right now.
Not even people that I meet, people that I just in my family have misused words all the time. And I just be like, this may open a can of worms if I say so.
Oh Lord. Yeah, because especially to an old head. Oh my God. Lord, I'm sorry.
Like but I'm not
older people that you'd have made.
I don't want you to think I'm calling you stupid or none of that. I just don't want you to keep misusing this word.
Because me saying that I love is gonna be different than you getting embarrassed in the streets, personally.
Exactly.
And the fact that ain't nobody embarrassed you in the street this long, that questions the streets. What street were you on?
Oh my goodness. Anyway, the J's, judgmentalism.
Center Street?
Not Center Street. Oh.
I'm just naming places I used to live. That's my fault.
I lived on Price Drive because Jesus paid the price.
Is that what people said?
No.
You just came up with that on the fly.
Yes. I lived on Old Trail Road.
Oh, I know. Oh Lord.
We walked those
Oh, not
trails.
trail road. Oh
The
man.
Lord picked me up and put me on a new path, on a new trail.
You need life. You need to stop.
And now we live in the Cheshires where I smile like a Cheshire cat. Okay, be quiet.
I'm gonna just let you cook because you didn't thought about this for a minute, or either you just
No.
pulling this right out of the back end.
Yes.
Oh, I guess go off then. Somebody gonna judge you. It ain't gonna be me.
I lived on Shelton Mill Road.
Yes, you did. As did
And
I.
you did.
East Thatch Avenue, Shelterville Road, West Longleaf.
For 2 months, I lived on West Longleaf.
The place of all places, Toledo Court. Man. Oh, the place. Wasn't there a book called "Oh, the Places You'll Go"?
Yes. P.O. Davis Drive. Okay. But yeah,
Get
judgmentalism.
back. Judgmentalism. Okay, so maybe hold up. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's just hold down in this first 9. I guess we're gonna call this the alphabets of warfare.
Okay.
The alphabet of how do we call this? Hold on. There is a way. What do I call this? For some reason, it needs something. I can't. The enemy's alphabet.
Okay.
It's gonna probably improve over time, but like I said, I can't think. But the enemy's alphabet. We're gonna stop at J. So we got approval seeking activities. We're gonna keep going on other episodes, but like, bro, I think we get with 10 or 9. Here we at 9. Approval seeking activities: A, B, blind spot; C, complacency; D, deception or doctrines of man; E, ethnicities. Ooh, tongue twister. F, family. Y'all need using brain, boy, because
Family. Oh my goodness.
because I'm telling you, I'm running off no sleep.
Family eccentricities and idiosyncrasies.
When I wake up in the morning, I'll be able to say it, but right now, generational curses and guilt. G, habits and heresies. H, I don't know how I got that out. I, ignorance, insecurity, idolatry, and invisible barriers, which I all tied into ignorance.
Yes.
And then judgmentalism. And the reason why I looked at these is because I wanted to compare it to, let me see, certain tactics. So we got quick strike raids, ambushes, sabotages, and other irregular actions. Now, here's the best part about when they was talking about guerrilla warfare that I feel like click some stuff. The VC or the Vietnam individuals could never meet the American military on a battlefield for a conventional fight. So they used, and that's the best part, so they used irregular forces and techniques in hopes of fighting a war of attrition. They normally would strike quickly in an ambush, then flee without having to engage in a prolonged battle. They also used a large system of tunnels, which means they snuck around, that could move forces underground without the detection of U.S. forces, i.e., I'm going to break it down in a minute for what we got going on, but just bear with me because I'm going to flip you. When they were on the surface, they were experts in jungle warfare, a battleground U.S. forces were unfamiliar with. They also resurfaced in Iraq, Afghanistan, and military academics, which have been for the past 20 years. As far as they said, guerrilla warfare also resurfaced in these areas. They said, what is the most effective military strategy of all time? The answer in these modern times at least seems apparent to be guerrilla warfare. So breaking this down to how the enemy works, because I'm gonna tell you in the guerrilla warfare how much of a coward the enemy can be, but based on his cowardly ways is what makes him unpredictably strong against your situations. Breaking it back down. Quick strike, raids, ambushes, sabotage, and other irregular actions. If you are prepared to fight the enemy in such a correct format that you believe or are taught that you must fight, you are lacking adaptability to the battles that you have to face. The reason why guerrilla warfare worked is because regular militarism only fought in very structured ways. When the enemy don't care about your structure, he don't care about you. He don't care about your life. He don't care about your schedule. He don't care about your family setup. He don't care how your job works. He don't care about your ideas, your talents. He don't care none about any of the things that you have, none of that. So if you thinking I'm gonna just pull up to the battlefield in regular formation, I have this job and this fine family, and I have this amount of money. The enemy don't care about none of that. I'm gonna hit you from the side where you don't even see it. I.e., oh, I got this great job, this great family, this great husband. He cheated on you. Now what?
Ooh.
I'm finna blindside you with something you ain't see coming. And I'm gonna hit you with it so fast and pop up out of there before you even know it was me. You blame the other party. I.e., oh, instead of blaming the enemy, you're gonna blame your mama.
Not your mama. Why your mama?
Because you're gonna think about generational curses and don't connect it to the enemy. You want to connect it to the generation right in front of you that raised you, your mama, your grandma, your daddy. Whoever raised you, you only gonna think about that generation beforehand. They ruined me. Not the enemy ruined us. They ruined me. That's an ambush and sabotage rolled all into one. But you want to go, well, you know what? I prayed one time. I should be good. Do you not understand the way you've been praying must evolve with the tactics? Yes. So it just be, I just been praying. You need to be praying and fasting too. Oh, I pray and fast. Do you pray, fast, and study? Do you meditate on his word day and night? Not the way you think, people. If the enemy is always unpredictable, if you're still following the same format you've been following, that's the reason why America lost Vietnam. We don't want to talk about it in the history books. I'm a history teacher. I'm going to put it on blast. America lost Vietnam because we were so correct and they was out here getting it. They didn't have nowhere near the military capabilities that we have, i.e., the devil ain't got nowhere near the power that we have been granted by God himself. But because we give them more, we gave the enemy more power because we don't understand the power that we have at our fingertips that can really overcome him because we don't pray, we don't study, we won't spend time with the actual general. Ignorance. We want to act like we got this once God and already did something. Not just ignorance, arrogance.
Yeah.
Because sometimes as Christians, we can be arrogant and be like, oh, okay, God, you did this for me. Oh, I know you got it this time. I ain't even got to say nothing to you. Then he said, cast all your cares.
We get this.
And you ain't said a word. How he supposed to transmit that? Yeah, he see it, yeah. But he wants you to bring it to him. But you want to act like he's just supposed to pop up. Oh, God, I know you see me. Yeah, I see you. But did you ask? Asking you shall receive, seek you shall find, knocking the door shall be open unto you. You ain't even knock. You just outside the door acting like somebody supposed to see you out there or let you in. What?
And I'm
you ain't even knock. Didn't ring no doorbell.
I'm surprised this isn't in the book, but the spirit of entitlement, that's a big one. Because that's all that is. All that is the spirit of entitlement. And you will get so caught up in it, you won't even realize it. And that is exactly.
That's why they always say that people that say, a lot of people that say they believe in God, they're still gonna be in hell.
Yeah.
You ain't checked in with God in 20 years since you've been baptized. You thought that you got that one prayer that you was just good. Oh, God with me all the time. You ain't talked to God in how long?
And are you living for him?
Nah, you lived for him during that time when you gave yourself up to him.
Because
But after
nobody's
that,
gonna
you've been
live.
wilding,
Yeah, nobody's gonna live perfectly, but are you at least making the stride
trying.
to being who he called you to be, to living the life that he
Cause
called you to live?
exactly. Cause I want to crush that Christian perfectionism that we have been manipulated into believing
Yeah.
that the enemy has literally used against us, and that a lot of generations have perpetuated to younger generations.
Yeah.
You are not perfect just because you in that church that long. The church is a hospital. You sick too.
And that's why like our generation has turned away, because our generation feels like I have to be this ain't nothing but people trying to be perfect, or people who claim to be perfect, or and then are hypocrites. Or these are I'm not
Or
perfect, and
you
I'm not
seen
trying to.
people in the pulpit do certain things, dastardly
Yeah.
things that turned you away from the church in general. Yeah,
Yeah.
that happens. Church hurt
Listen,
is a thing.
I'm gonna be it's gonna cause more anxiety for me to try to be this perfect. I'll never be loved because I'm not this perfect. And then that's when they turn to witchcraft, because all witchcraft say is, oh, we welcome you as you are. You can do whatever you want to do, live however you want to live. You
Forgetting the
have
fact that some
sex. That's all
churches
right.
legit say,
Have all the
"Come as you are,
sex.
leave better."
You like to drink? Go ahead. Get drunk all the time.
Acting like Jesus didn't drink wine. All right,
Jesus drunk wine, but he didn't get drunk.
but that's what I'm saying. There's a difference. What I mean by that is, being a Christian don't mean you can't have a good time.
Yeah, yeah.
We feel like sometimes that's the reason why a lot of people turn away from Christianity, because you feel like you can't have a good time anymore if you become a Christian. No, you shouldn't be wilding like that in the first place, whether you was a Christian or not.
Exactly. But a lot of times, and I think I made a post about this. The reasons, like, why we get caught up in these behaviors that we use back to these strongholds and back to these codependencies. We get caught up in these behaviors that we used as a crutch and as a means to basically survive and get by. And
Yeah.
once Christ comes into your life, you don't need that anymore. And that's why it's because God says it's a sin. And when you really sit down and look at what those things are, those behaviors were that you were engaging in, you realize that they were destructive behaviors in the first place. And that's why God says that it's a sin, because it keeps you away from him, and it keeps you away from the life that he has for you. God doesn't have a destructive life for you.
You caused that. And the thing about it is that I would like to formally say this to myself and a lot of people that's out there. What we really got to start doing. Yes, things happen to you, but you cause you to stay in it.
That's true.
Because I'm not gonna lie, at like I said, trauma, environmental stressors, all these things are true. But what I'm learning, the more I'm starting to just really study and be in myself and really try to dig through my own issues, I kept me in some of this. Like, it gets to a point to where you have to take accountability for what you did on the battlefield. You went out there like that. God didn't tell you to do that. Your trauma didn't even tell you to do that. But the thing about it is, the enemy will manipulate you. Because I say this all the time, me and Yana, we talked about it on podcast, we talked about it personally. The enemy wants you to do the mistakes. He don't want to do no work. The enemy really lazy, if you really got to call it a buck. He know he going to hell. He trying to drag as many people with him.
Yeah.
If I ain't got no influences over that, I'm going to manipulate you in your mind to make you do it. And that way you can't get in.
That's why the mind is the battlefield. And that's why a lot of people in our generation deal with anxiety and depression the way that they do. Because they don't, it's the ignorance of it. It's not to say that you're ignorant to it, but a lot of times even I get ignorant to the fact that, oh, this is the enemy trying to play with my mind. And we think,
because you've been fooled for so long, you can't see it.
And we take on the thing as if it's ours. Oh, this is my anxiety, my depression, no, it's not.
And not just that, coming from something, like I say, I be speaking for transparency. Ain't nothing. The way the enemy really want to manipulate mental health And this is just one of his biggest tactics. I believe mental health is both what it is and also spirit based.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just go through it.
Same.
If I can put you in a silo and make you think that only you going through this, or even if it's not only you going through this, your experience is so unique you can't seek out help. Or because I'm gonna make you feel embarrassed about what you're going through, so you won't even talk to some of your friends about what you're going through, which in turn breaks down your relationships with them.
Mm-hmm.
I can manipulate you from the root by just making you feel like you by yourself in this. Forgetting the fact that God there, you can pray to him. You got angels, you got all these things at your disposal. If I can make you feel one of the biggest human errors in the world, which started from the beginning, because God even knew this was an issue. If I can make you feel alone, the reason why he even gave Adam Eve, because he knew it wasn't good for folks to be alone. If I can make you feel alone, I'm good everywhere else. I can conquer you in so many ways if I can just single you out or make you single yourself out.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why they always tell you when you're dealing with certain mental health issues or certain crises or certain traumas is that you must seek support.
Yes.
Because they know
Talk to
alone
somebody.
it is so dangerous. Reason why when they say you know somebody got suicidal ideations, they need to be with somebody.
Yeah.
They need to be talking to somebody, have support system in some type of way. Anxiety, depression, all these other mental health and issues and disorders, even when it comes to just natural stuff, you feel lonely. You need to be with somebody. And the devil will manipulate that into codependency.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in trying to seek support. And this is one thing I fell for. And I apologize for any of my exes because this is something that can easily be done. Sometimes the devil will make you not want to be by yourself so bad that you will immediately get in any relationship you can get into.
Absolutely.
Friendships, romantic, whatever. And sometimes when you don't want to deal with your own issues, you would take on a relationship that is so stupid, that is full of so many issues in order to say, no, I'm going to say it. Screw that. It's stupid because you want to take on somebody that got more issues than you so you can at least say, at least I ain't them.
Mm.
I can help them become better. A lot of women do this a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this man is down bad, broken like this, da 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 da. I can make them be a better version of himself. No, you want to have a project because you don't want to be a better version of yourself. You think you better than him when y'all are both in the same boat.
Pretty much. Who child? Been there, done that.
Broken people attract broken people.
Yes.
The you are what you attract. Boy, I follow that to the T. I always say, tell somebody, especially in relationship stuff, if you want a better person in your life or attract the person that God has intended to your life, you need to go work on yourself.
Be a better person. Be by yourself. Stop thinking you got to go somewhere and have sex with somebody. Stop thinking you got to get in a relationship with somebody. Stop looking for your worth in other people and acknowledge that God has given you worth in simply creating you. Mm-hmm. God looked at you and said, you
was
are
worthy before you even came out.
Exactly.
Like you was worth before creation.
God said, I made you. Therefore, you are worthy by default.
But yet the enemy gonna make you feel like you ain't worth nothing until you finally have a certain feeling. And that's another thing about spiritual warfare too that he don't bother. He will use your feelings to betray you.
Mm-hmm.
If I can make you feel a certain type of way, no, because your own understanding is polluted.
It's polluted by
you
your
were birthed in
trauma,
a
by your
world,
environment, by your mind that has been shaped by the world, by your environment, by your pain, by your brokenness. You are living life through a filtered lens, and you believe it to be true because you're broken. You believe that brokenness to be true. Love don't exist. Unconditional love don't exist. You believe that to be true because you've never experienced it. I'm sorry you're broken, but it's real. God don't exist. I'm sorry that the church hurt you. I'm sorry that somebody within the church has hurt you and made you believe that. I'm sorry that man did not meet your needs the way you thought they should have, except the only person who can really meet those needs is God. But because you're taught to put man on a pedestal, the preacher on the pedestal, the deacon on the pedestal, whoever on the pedestal, because that's what you're taught, and they failed in your eyes, somehow that translated to God doesn't exist. I get it, but I'm also sorry that that's what happened to you, and that's what you experienced, and that's what you feel deep within your heart. But I'm also here to tell you it's not true. And your brokenness is lying to you, no matter what it looks like, whether it's related to religion, whether it's related to faith, whether it's related to love or whatever. Men ain't crap. Men ain't worth nothing. Women ain't worth nothing. I'm sorry you have wounds, but that's not true. But if that's how you see life, that's what you're going to keep on getting.
That's why we always tell people you need to experience life a little bit more. So that way you can expand your horizons when it comes to stuff going on around you. Some people stuck in the same place, and the only reason why they ain't got better internally is because they ain't seen nothing different.
Exactly. And then when people want to show them different, they don't really know how to handle it or take it in. And so right now, I do pray that God makes your heart receptive to receiving different. That God takes your heart of stone and makes it a heart of flesh, as his word says. And that he gives you the eyes to see, the ears to hear, the mind to understand, and the heart to receive all that he is. And what it means to truly be loved by him, and to be part of his kingdom, and to be part of his family, and to be one of his people. And to understand who you really are in him. In Jesus' name, amen.
Man, I just find it weird. And this is something I have to talk about myself too. Like every time I come on the podcast, people don't understand that. Like one of my, it was funny. One of my friends said, "I listen to the podcast all the time, and I feel like I know you better." But it's because I come, bro, like that. Because I was such a private person that when people hear me on the podcast, they're like, "Wow, Jay felt like that." Yep. Because I mean, I just used to go through stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I used to just shoulder the burdens of a lot of things. I wouldn't tell people how I felt about it, or I treated trauma as normalcy. Because that's all I knew. So all the trauma and the stresses that came with a normal environment, I was just like, okay, it's a Monday. What should have killed somebody yesterday, I was like, it's Monday.
Yeah.
That's you remember that's how I used to walk through stuff. People used to bring me stuff all the time that used to be outlandish. And I just be like, all right. And just work through it with them or go through it with them. And the stories would be wild. And that's the reason why everybody knew, because everybody got their own experience with me and my friend group, or people that have been around me that can say, yeah, only Jay went through that. Or they'll be like, I tell a story so outlandish to the outside world, somebody would be thinking I'm lying. But because people know me and have seen the stuff I go through, and the fact I don't talk about a lot of it, the fact that I'm even talking about it, this is facts. Like, I died. Yeah, Jay did go through that. That's simple it was.
That's when I was
can literally
coming into the group too, and I was just like, what?
See, but y'all saw my state I was in. If I say that out loud, somebody gonna be like, what? Y'all gonna be like, yeah. Or any other wild thing that I've been around, I had to witness, or people have told me. or stuff that happened in my house, or them types of things.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell the stories, outside people like, dang, that sounds like a whole bunch of baloney. Let's take it back. Baloney.
Baloney. Baloney.
And then my friends hear me say it, they be like, yeah, that sounds about right. That's the same thing. If ever time I'm late for something to somebody, and y'all know how much I hate being late. So the fact if I am late, something had to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm either early or late. I ain't never on time, according to my mama. And usually I'm late because stupid stuff that there's no way for me to plan for. But that's the same way I look at spiritual warfare and stuff like that. There's things that's going to hit you that the devil going to use against you that you can't plan for.
Yeah.
You cannot have a strategic plan to go out and face every day, but you have tools you can use at your disposal that you can adapt to the situation and still conquer. The reason why America lost in Vietnam was due to the fact that America couldn't adapt. They came in with a rigid plan and a stubbornness to us that said, we are the most dominant military on the planet. This is how we move. The same way how we do stuff, walking around here, whether we say it or not, I am undefeatable. There's nothing that can hit me at all. Nothing will affect me. I am not shaken or stirred. James Bond. Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
But it comes to that level of arrogance or ignorance or pride or whatever you want to use in replacement of that sentence that has the enemy outsmarting us every time. Because we lean on us so bad, we forget God behind us the whole time. But we think we got it, either because a little bit he done and we done took it upon ourselves to claim, or the fact that we have longevity with God, or you think you do, because you think you've been a Christian for 20 years, but you was only a Christian for 15 minutes when you got dunked in that water back in 1987. 20 some years.
30.
I ain't even gonna give you 30. Because there's times when you walked away from being a Christian, probably between 1995 and 1997, or when you walked away after your child was born back in 2001, there are gaps in your Christianity that we don't claim that. But you thought you was a Christian the whole time. We don't talk about that.
Oh my.
And like I said, I'm just pulling out experiences, stuff I know, stuff I've seen.
Yeah.
But like if you just adapt to the battle and go back and talk to the general on how to re-evaluate the strategy, most of the warfare you go through, you would have to deal with. But we don't never go back to re-evaluate. I'm going to go head first, headstrong, forward with the plan I created originally.
You know what just came to my mind? We need to use we supposed to be using AR-15s and stuff, and we still trying to use a musket.
This girl said a musket. I almost threw my phone.
I don't know why that
She
vision
said
just
a
came to my mind.
musket.
All I see is somebody like reaching behind them trying to reload a musket.
They trying to use that dang gunpowder. We got bullets. We got bombs. You got gunpowder. We are not the same.
But the thing about it is, that's what it's like. It's like you trying to. We are in an age of using AR-15s and bazookas and all this other stuff, and you trying to use your musket.
Call of Duty. You over here, but that's only because you ain't never go back to God to upgrade your arsenal. You still running off that same prayer your grandma made 20 years ago. You ain't prayed to him yet in order to redo your arsenal. Or you still praying like your grandma instead of developing your own language with him in relationship with him to where he can't refill your arsenal anyway, because all the weapons you asking for don't fit your fighting style.
You
Like
asking
I
him to
said
speak
last
for
time,
you.
you a archer. Why you on the front lines?
You asking him to
Get on
speak to
top
you
of
in
the
the same
tower.
way that he spoke to your grandma. He spoke to your grandma in dreams. He speak to you through people. You still trying to have dreams. I ain't had no dream last night.
And you over here, you don't understand how stupid you look, sitting up here trying to sleep all day, trying to get a dream from God. Over there finna get fired.
And somebody done walk
Why you ain't
past
been to
you.
work? I've been waiting. I've been trying to dream up a way to get out of my job. You finna lose it the way you talk.
Somebody that walked past you and gave you the word that God was trying to give you, and you just, oh no, that ain't the word. I don't think that's God. God, I'm waiting for my dream. I asked you to speak for me in a dream. That's not how God talked to you, baby. Or that's just not how he's talking to you in this season.
But that's the thing. We only worried about what we want to do, not what God want us to do. Because there's some stuff can be so simple if we just sit up here and be like, all right, God, what you want us to do? Oh, that's what you want me to do? I bet. Simple. What we do? Nowhere near.
I saw
All because
one sermon from the Potter's House at 1LA. Pastor Toure is like, he's like, this is what it looks like. God, tell me where to go, and we walking already. Walking our own direction. God, tell me where to go.
yeah.
Don't
It's
want
the
to be
same way we go.
don't
It's
want
the
to be
same way when we
told.
going down the street and we cussing out Siri or Google about why we ain't going to the right place. They done said recalculate about 15 times. I'm like, bro, you still going straight when it said when you get to the light, you create a U-turn. You kept going straight.
Not
Not only
create
did
a
you keep going
U-turn.
straight, bruh, when you get to the next light, make a U-turn. You drove through a red. You didn't even drive through a green. You went through a red.
I've done that.
You were supposed to hit a U-turn on green. You drove straight through a red. No wonder
Literally
you got a
and
ticket.
figuratively.
No wonder you got a spiritual ticket. God told you to turn around so many times and you still going straight, speeding through lights. And the devil keep pulling you over, getting you ticket after ticket. You finna go to jail. And the prison you supposed to be going to ain't fun. And you can't get out. They're 25 to life around here and you ain't got no parole. Cause hell don't got parole.
But some people trying to like move through, like, say for instance, you going through Birmingham and you like, okay, I know the location is in this vicinity. So I'm gonna turn on Siri and then we gonna go. And then she like, turn this way, and you like, the quickest way is to go this way. And then you end up lost. And it's because we think we know the city, we think we know the direction, we think we know the route, we think we know the path. But we don't. We thought we could make it,
Recalculating.
we thought we could do this quick shortcut. And now it's taking us longer because we don't know where we at.
Turn left. Recalculating. Man, God done had you recalculate so many times. He's been waiting on you to hit a U-turn. That's all you had to do. We so slow, we just keep going straight. And we adding, ooh, and you know what that just brought me to, and we can end on this. You know when you keep going after the GPS and told you to either hit a U-turn or hit another way, and you add more time to the trip, and you wonder why people be stuck in stuff for years.
This was your exit right here. Nope, I'm gonna stay up here on the freeway.
and you done added more time to the trip. You supposed to been off of that 15 years ago. You got folks holding on to stuff for like 20, 30, 40, 50 years because they should have been got off the exit. But they said, nah, I like driving fast. I'm going to stay on the interstate. Man, if you don't turn on your turn signal and get in the slow lane and get off, even God done gave you other ways to get around on the streetway. You just won't get off the interstate.
Because even
If
the
I
street,
was the
but
God
even the
GPS,
streetway
I'd
too
turn
slow.
off. You said, what about the streetway?
Even the streetway too slow. I like the streetways. I will take a streetway all day long. But
And sometimes streetway help you avoid what?
accidents, traffic.
Anything that will hold you up from getting you to your destination in a timely fashion. But we talking about warfare, not traveling, but we can always connect it another day. Ooh, I can't wait.
Well, that's
How long
all
we
we
been on here?
have. That's all we have for this week. Just to begin talking about strongholds and the weapons of the enemy. I really hope y'all got something out of this. We really hope y'all got something out of this. I did not expect this conversation to really go this way, actually.
Once I gotta move, that's why I come in here like this. I let him use me.
Yes.
Because I don't be knowing.
But I do thank God that it went this direction. And that I opened the book. Like I said, I have not even gotten to this part of the book yet. But it's amazing how God works. But yeah, this is great. I hope y'all got something out of it. Please share it with people. Let people know. Don't just share it to get our numbers up or anything like that. Yeah, that'd be great. But also share it to make sure that it's impacting somebody's life, that somebody who needs to hear it hears it. If there's something in the episode, whether it's like a 15-second clip that they needed or that somebody needs, like just share it.
Clip it. Tell them to go to on 1527 in the podcast. That'll bless you. What?
Right. You ain't gotta listen to the whole thing. Just listen. If you gotta listen to that part, listen to that part.
And to be honest, people, everybody can't listen. I always say listen to podcasts in pieces because some people, if you ain't got the time to sit through it, that's cool. It's called play and pause for a reason.
Absolutely.
Come back. Quit listening to a podcast on for 10 minutes, then they say something you don't agree with. You just off. I can't believe they said that. You ain't even listen to the rest of the sentence.
Well, that's all we get. We'll see y'all next week.
I feel better. Whew.
I'm gonna go to bed now.
Bed? What is that?
I'm going to bed because one thing that my mom told me is that rest is worship too.
Man, whoa, that's a word I needed. Yeah, I'm gonna eggs off that one. Yeah.
Bye.